Stores, restaurants, and some services have opened, but footfall is still below 2019 levels on our high streets and in destinations. In this session, we have a look at why those things are happening, and we present new trends for shopping, food and beverages, as well as leisure activities. There is certainly change ahead of us, but how do you spot a long-term shift rather than a short-term skew? You don't want to adjust your business model and then find out it was all just a temporary fad. Change is due to two things: external pressure and internal priorities. For example, people were panic buying pasta and rice, then supermarkets stocked up, and now they have to discount the stock to shift it. It was a temporary skew because of external circumstances, not because of change of priorities. But there are some trends that represent a lasting change. None of the trends I'm about to present have come out of nowhere. They all had already started pre-pandemic. But lockdown has speeded them up and intensified them, and the following 5 trends are here to stay. We know they are lasting trends because we have seen the effects of them across all sectors where we do research: groceries, non-food retail, leisure activities, and eating out. The first trend is home comforts. People had to spend more time at home during lockdown, and many of them liked it. This is an opportunity for food and drink brands as new at-home consumption occasions appear. Restaurants should think about developing their takeaway offer, and John Lewis is already pushing entertaining at home for their home items. For leisure and holidays, this means more staycations, more days out in the local area, and self-catering, that home from home rather than serviced stays. Well-being was already on the rise pre-COVID-19, but the virus has made 58% say that they are now more focusing on their health and well-being. Are there elements of your offer that can tap into this trend? Can you add an outdoor gym to your offer? Can you offer more nutritious food and drink options? Can you link your venue with outdoor activities like walking or cycling? Those are all things to consider. Considered consumption is a trend that has started but will intensify in the coming recession. Across all areas, people will cut their spend but will also still look to treat themselves on those special occasions. This means the middle ground will get squeezed again. Consumers will choose either value end or premium end for almost everything. Technology acceptance has increased and is an opportunity to reduce customer contact and to improve customer experience. Dunhelm has just launched a high street concept store which uses augmented reality to bring blinds and other home items to life in store. Wine bars have popped up where people serve themselves from vending machines. As retail space is likely to get smaller, we need to get more creative about how products are displayed, and technology is one way that can help us do that. And finally, sustainable living. The David Attenborough effect started long before lockdown, but COVID-19 has not replaced but further fueled people's desire to consume in a way that minimizes impact on the environment. 1 in 5 people have reduced their meat intake during lockdown, and Deliveroo has seen another spike in vegan orders. 46% say they are willing to pay more for products in plastic-free packaging. This is a long-term trend, and businesses need to consider this in their offer. In the brand workshops that we complete with our clients, we are advising venues and brands to review their offer and marketing messages in line with those 5 key trends to identify new opportunities. As we have seen, footfall in shops is nowhere near that of previous years. And in this week's edition of our COVID-19 tracker, 66% of shoppers say that they are visiting non-food stores less frequently. But there is a big divide between the age groups. While 52% of those aged under 35 are visiting less often, for those aged 35 or over, it's a staggering 75%. 64% of shoppers also say that the shopping experience is less fun. And when we look at the reasons why people are not coming, 35% say they are concerned about the virus. Making face masks compulsory may alleviate some of those fears. But there are also 22% who don't like the queues and 21% who don't think it's going to be a very nice experience. So telling customers there are no queues and making the experience nicer can attract up to 43% more potential shoppers. Lush, for example, are giving out small soap samples for shoppers to wash their hands, making it a more enjoyable experience. So any small things that retailers can do to make it a better experience could attract more shoppers. We've also seen in the data that not all the issues of retail are down to lockdown. For example, when we look at how consumers switched to online, we can see here growth rates for online shopping during the lockdown when people, other than for food and drink, really didn't have an opportunity to buy any other way. We can see that for food stores, we've had a significant increase in growth of online. The same is true for household stores and for other stores. However, department stores, while there was initial growth, it then leveled off. And for clothing and footwear stores, actually there's no huge growth at all. This hints that department stores and fashion and accessories actually have other underlying issues not related to the lockdown. And we have some reports coming out on our website over the next couple of weeks of what those issues are and how to address them. Now let's have a look at restaurants. Our survey that was conducted this week shows that only 34% of UK adults are currently planning to go for a sit-down meal in a restaurant, while 27% are planning to get a takeaway. This is a takeaway from a sit-down restaurant, not from a specific takeaway. However, 45% are not planning to go to any restaurants at all. And again, we can see this age divide with 28% of those under 35 not going to restaurants, but 56% of those aged 35 and over. And that is an issue for a lot of restaurants where this is the heartland of their customer base. If we look at the reasons, we can see that the main barrier for going to restaurants is worry about the virus. Only 17% have concerns about the experience. So 49% are worried about coronavirus. So clear and obvious safety measures and an official accreditation such as the AA's COVID confidence scheme can help venues reassure customers. Should also consider whether there are elements of your offer that could be developed into a successful takeaway or home delivery model. Bars and pubs have reopened and 17% of our panel have already been, while a 35% are planning to go. But 48% have no plans to visit pubs or bars, with that percentage going up to 59% of those aged 35 and over. Coronavirus worries are the main concern here as well, with only 12% thinking it will not be a nice experience. So again, reassuring customers and making your venue coronavirus safe are the top priorities, at least in the short term. When it comes to attractions, the majority want to return to them within 1 year. Unsurprisingly, pure outdoor attractions such as parks or botanical gardens have a bit of a head start, with 35% of people wanting to return to them within a few weeks. However, other attractions such as museums or art galleries are likely to catch up within a few months. Figures from other countries suggest that return to the cinema will be a trickle rather than a flood. 70% of the general public say they would feel uncomfortable about returning to a cinema. But we need to remember that even before the pandemic, going to the cinema was not really a mass market experience for everybody. 41% of regular movie watchers were happy to wait for films to come out on video on demand, and only 36% preferred to go to the cinema. And although the younger age groups are declining as audience proportion of cinema goers, they still make up a very high proportion, which is good in this case because this age group is less worried about coronavirus. The main reasons for choosing cinema over streaming are the viewing experience and going to the cinema as a social occasion. So we don't necessarily have to wait for the big new releases. Crowd-pleasing classics that simply are better viewed on the big screen could help attract audiences. When it comes to theatre and stage events, a survey shows that 40% of regulars won't buy tickets in the next 4 months, and only 19% would return to venues when they open. And this is despite 93% saying they miss live events. So this shows that this audience is particularly risk averse and confirms our fears that this sector will take the longest to recover. On the other hand, those attending live music events are keen to return to the venues. 41% are saying they would return within 1 month of reopening, and 79% would return within 4 months. So, initially reassuring people that your venue is coronavirus safe and targeting a younger demographic that is less worried about coronavirus are important. But the big question is, how do we get visitors to return in big numbers in the longer term? How do we get them to leave their homes to come to stores, cinemas and restaurants when they can have it all at the touch of a button at home? We need to remember why people come to physical destinations in the first place and deliver those elements that online is weak in. It is no longer about what you sell, but how you deliver it. One of the key elements people going to venues is about social connection. People go to venues to spend time with friends and families, and the seamless integration of shopping, eating, drinking, arts and entertainment must continue. This is the one thing that online cannot deliver. We just have to find a way to do it within the current restrictions. For example, a restaurant in Belgium has printed smiles on the face masks of their staff to bring some of that human connection back. So anything that we can do to bring that social element, that human connection back, even under the restrictions, will be hugely helpful for long-term footfall. Inspiration is another key element of physical destinations. Stores need to bring back this element of wonder and surprise. Innovation and new ideas are important across all sectors as consumers are looking for that Instagrammable experience. Galeries Lafayette in Paris has opened a concept store which is more of an art gallery than a department store, and the premise is to inspire. How can you surprise and delight your customers? Inspiration is important. We also have to remember that one of the key reasons that people come to a physical venue is to touch, smell, hear things, as well as see them in real life. It's a sensory experience. Not only is this something that online cannot offer, it is also a key way to generate impulse purchases. Hotel Chocolat has always been good at delivering a sensory experience, leading people to buy more than they should. Can you make people see, feel, hear things that they cannot get elsewhere? How can you involve their senses? That is a key question for physical venues. And finally, brand touchpoint. We really need to stop seeing stores as places to sell things. They are a place where people can have a physical interaction with a brand. Physical interaction builds brand connection faster than anything else, than any advertising or any other activity. Someone walking into a restaurant or bar should immediately get a feel for what the brand stands for, so they can build a connection with the venue rather than just seeing it as a place to eat. As traditional car dealerships are likely to be phased out, automotive brands need somewhere for customers to experience the physical car, and shopping destinations are the logical choice. So the role of the store will change from a place of transaction to a brand touchpoint. If you viewed your venue as a brand touchpoint, what would you do differently? There are uncertain times ahead, but there are still opportunities for sales and growth. We have a lot of free information on our website focusing on retail, food and drink, as well as holiday and leisure behavior. I would like to thank you for your attention, and please feel free to get in touch if you have any questions or would like further information. We will be happy to help.